Finally, a company is doing something for society. Do you guys think so?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good, yeah. This is even better. They're making employment and education to the locals. Finally, some people are stepping up. This is good. I'm sure everybody must be knowing about each of part. They cite it as a CSR initiative by ITC in which they empower the farmers and the village people that they provide them with information, security, etc. So, we are going to present on corporate social responsibility, socialism within capitalism. Now, there's a contradiction there itself. How can socialism and capitalism be together? They are two completely different opposing economics, schools of thought in economics. Capitalism is more about maximizing your profits, it's more about no government control. Socialism is completely opposite, it's about equitable distribution of resources, government control, not a free market. So, how does CSR fit into the socialism versus capitalism dichotomy? That's what we're going to explain. But before we dialectically analyze CSR, we must first answer two basic questions, two fundamental questions. First is, what is CSR? Is it simply being ethical, doing what is right or just all the time? Or is it simply being legally responsible, just obeying to the laws of the land? Or is it just being philanthropic, making charitable contributions to society? Or is it simply being economically responsible, maximizing your profits? Ideally, it is all four. So it's economic responsibility, legal responsibility, ethical responsibility, and philanthropic responsibility. The point is, we don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in it. Now the next question comes, why? To this 2008 financial crisis. The single biggest capital failure of capitalism that the world has seen. So just because of malpractice, malgovernance, and unethical ways to maximize your profits, 2008, the world got on its knees. So ideology of CSR. Socialism. Socialism is in corporate social responsibility. Socialism is inherent in CSR, and it seems like so. Especially after 2008, the financial crisis, there's been more government involvement. All the stimulus packages that were given, they have clauses which stipulate that the companies have to involve in ethical practices, have to be ecologically sound. The practices have to be ecologically sound. So, socialism is inherent in corporate social responsibility. Capitalism, maybe we'll see as we move forward. This is another great CSI initiative. Don't you think so, Rakesh? Why don't you take forward?
Now here, this is a CSI initiative. It came like 2 days before. And here a startup company, a housing company, is distributing 3,250 raincoats to the Mumbai police. Now what we see here participation, we see here inclusion. CSR as a concept, it evolved as a voluntarily realization of one's responsibility towards all the actors which are affected by our business operations. So here we see the inclusion of policing system and a housing industry, startup in housing industry, colliding together for betterment of the society.
Wait. So you are telling that this basically says that they are not propagating their own company, they are not marketing their company, they are just going out for some CSI initiative, welfare in the society. I don't believe this. I think what this is listen to this thing. The guy you just mentioned is actually the CM of the company. He's the chief marketing officer. If you really think it out, there's a website, there's an article on this actually, and they say it's actually nothing but 3,250 going just billboard moving across Bombay. They're actually propagating their website. They're actually just marketing their website. It is kind of on CSR, yes. Basically, we are providing some jackets, some raincoat. Okay, fine, you can afford it, maybe, I don't know. But their main purpose is not the raincoat. Their main purpose is giving out, just propagating this idea that yes, we exist. Come and click on our site, buy our products, right? So let's say if they are putting some X amount of money in buying this jacket, providing this jacket. Obviously, to market all the people, almost 90% people will be on roads throughout the range, maybe more, and they'll be seeing this housing.co logo. So nobody can ever achieve 90% market cap, market awareness by just only that X amount. You'll have to pay a lot marketing concept, I would say, but CSI initiative maybe. That's just one of them. Let's check out some other ones. So you must have seen a movie called Blood Diamonds. So Blood Diamonds actually is where in Africa, children and women and men basically they are underemployed, there's poverty, but they have to work and they have to get the money. So ultimately they go outside and just mine, and they mine precious metals, they mine diamonds, which are basically illegal in some countries. And the work they are doing is illegal, the conditions they are doing is illegal. But the capitalists, they don't care about it. All they want is money, obviously. So they want money, and they procure this material, they procure these precious metals from Africa, sell it in the market, make money. Then suddenly somebody realizes, oh, this is bad. So they make a movie out of it, everybody realizes, somebody comes and does some presentations, and everybody thinks, okay, fine, let's just, let's make, because now we are doing something which is maybe unethical or illegal. Let's make it more ethical. So they start up with, there's actually a process called Kimberley process, which basically proves that the material that they have, procured is, derived from the people who are working, professional workers. The miners are professional. They are not some children or some people who are, taken out of their home and just, put in the mine. But then there are some certifications which actually are not up to the mark. They are not accredited, technically speaking. So some of them are like RJC. So that is actually a certification which are made, which is given by a group of jewelers who claim that they are getting the materials, their raw materials from Africa, from other continents, from other places of the world, and the material which they are getting is mined by sophisticated workers and not by some children. Okay, agree, maybe true. But then they were asked, so let's say if you are into this business, in which there is another parallel business where there are children who are working in some very inhuman condition, don't you think you should help them out because it is kind of your business? So check out their response. So this guy is the CEO of RJC. He says, okay fine, we don't care because it's not something we are doing. They say that my certification says that whatever thing which I am giving to you is of 100% quality, is produced by some perfect workers, very good. But I don't care what is happening to the child. So this is not CSI initiative, if you think about it. Go into the past, when the first company was originated, maybe just after the Greeks came in or maybe during the Mughal Samrat, I don't know. But those people, when they came up with their CSI initiative, their purpose of CSI initiative was to ensure the welfare of the society. Not just, just mold it into their own words and carry out some kind of CSR initiative so as to make more profits. So this guy is one of the other part of, he has his own definition of CSR kind of thing. Let's take another example. This is just for my mind. I'll just prove it to you. Another example. Let's take an example of beauty industry, the cosmetic industry basically. There are a lot of researches and symposium and presentations and talks and panel discussions and all of these things are going on. But there's one very unique thing about it. You'll never hear in these discussions or anything related to sustainability or corporate social responsibility. These companies are mainly related only improving their products, regardless of what raw material they are getting, regardless of who is using it, regardless of what's happening to their skins or body parts or whatever. They are just marketing it and just selling it. And they are actually propagating this idea that actually, that beauty is just physical attractiveness and physical appearance. It's not about happiness or dignity or attitude or related to that. It's just only physical appearance. To prove it, in fact, in their own symposium, they have this kind of a research where they come up with it that 60% of women believe that physical appearance is actually one of the top 5 important parameters of being a woman. Others being health, work-life balance, and something similar as happiness. Health being the first one. So they are capturing this thing. They say, okay, fine, can we monetize this factor? Can we monetize this factor of physical appearance? And they do it. They always come up with advertisements. They always come up with this, that the lady has to be fair and lovely kind of a thing. They name it in fact fair and lovely, which is kind of a stupid thing. And ultimately what happens is, you propagate this idea that I am marketing my product and my whole purpose is to sell. I don't care society. One very bad example or one very bad final consequence of this happened in Fiji in 1995 when the first time televisions were introduced to them. So what people actually thought, well then, according to the research, 47% of women thought that only and only the most beautiful or physically attractive women get to go onto the popular, pop culture icon podium, right? So they wanted to aspire to become the one of those. And as you already know, cosmetic products are basically natural products, which are like aspirational products. So they started buying this and that, and then applying that, and making themselves something which is actually not they should have been, but pushed by the marketing companies or basically these companies. And ultimately, the outcome came. 3 years later, the research was done, and 11% of the women say that they practiced vomiting just after eating so that they would be in shape. But why? Do you think? This is totally, utterly stupid. Just because you want to be on the podium for no reason. What is the end purpose? There is no end purpose. Okay, let's take one more example. One very related example of tax evasion. Now, we studied in our own course last year, ILS. I remember the prof telling us that we ourselves have, in our constitution, there is a law of tax evasion. Let's say if I start up a company, I call it some ABC corporation. I make 10 lakhs per year. Let's say I reinvest my 7 lakhs. What is the left? 3 lakhs. This 3 lakhs is the amount on which I will pay tax. Which implies if I just reinvest over 10 lakhs, I will pay 0 lakh. So that is tax evasion. And this is openly used. Obviously, everybody uses it because if I am running a company, if my competitor is doing it, I will have to do it because otherwise I feel. Or he'll just take all the market share. So that happens. But here's the thing. Why? And again, then people say either we go for, and those companies, when they start up the CSR, they publicize it. They say, okay, fine, blah, 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 we started our own CSR initiative. But why do you have to start your own CSR initiative? Instead of paying, just doing it on your own, why don't we let the government do it? Because if you are paying the tax, well, technically speaking, the government is supposed to pay, just use it for societal welfare. Saying all ideally. So if you are evading the tax and using that money for some CSR initiative, it's the same thing again and again. The best for, from a society's perspective, the best way would be you pay the tax, also you do the CSR initiative, as well as please do not market it, because if you're marketing it, then it's not a CSR initiative, it's your marketing initiative. So that's the whole purpose of, CSR initiative. That's what I'm trying to say to you, right? So the housing loan, it was not a CSR initiative. I think it was more of a marketing initiative.
Okay, now let us look on this subject from a different side. Mining sector has been bearing the wrath of so-called civil society, environmental lobbyists, and the so-called self-professed socialists and communists. Mining as an industrial sector has been accused of many wrongdoings. We have the image created by the movies of natives of Africa being exploited and victimized in the mines of Africa under the terror regime. But mining industry has been doing many good, especially in the Indian context. When we have the examples of Tatas running many educational and vocational training centers nearby Jharkhand and in and around Jharkhand, which has given a playing field for the tribals and natives of those areas to excel in sports or academics, whatever they want. Then we have Vedanta. Vedanta has opened a multi-facility hospital in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh region has a very high IMR and MMR, and also people die there of very common diseases like cholera, diarrhea. So Vedanta has given an option for the people of those places to get the health facilities which the government has so far failed to give to them. Then we have the example of Coal India Limited. When the global summits for conserving environment for climate control started, a resolution was passed that the forest cover in the individual states and nations will be at least 33%. What Coal India started was, all the extinct mines were filled with sand and they were converted into forests. So it had been accumulating the 33% forest cover required by many of the states. In the African context, we have a very wrong notion of Africa. Africa now, earlier Africa was considered a dark continent inhabited by the savages. But now Africa is becoming slowly the large producer of agriculture products and raw materials for manufacturing sector all over the world. Most of the leading manufacturing countries, they have their plants and investment in Africa. We have Nigeria and South Africa, a very important example, who have been leading the GDP growth rates and competing with the so-called developed countries of the world. Now the cosmetic industry, with the advent of advertising and marketing, cosmetic industry saw very high growth rates. But again, cosmetic industry was accused of portraying physical appearance of women at the most desirable traits. And in Indian context, this cosmetic industry were accused of propagating fairer skin, and they rejected the Indian brown skin. But here we have to ask the question, do these social perceptions have been brought in by the cosmetic industry, or did they exist even before all this marketing and advertising? Here we discredit them with many of the good things they have done, like they have been promoting widow marriages, they have been promoting female education, they have been propagating more independence and confidence building measures for women to raise to their whatever position they are entitled for to get that position in society. Now moving to the ethical dimension from social and environmental dimension. Global financial system has been often accused by financial crisis and tax issues. But we have to understand that the global financial system is very complex. We have many countries with different economic scenarios and different economic ideologies. And when they interact together, when they are interlinked, they will take time to adjust. And all these problems, challenges which we face, like tax evasion issues or financial crisis, these are all the challenges because of the intermingling of the different kind of economies. All these accusations will never be able to undermine the importance of CSR and the relevance of capitalism in the growth and development of the future and the present. Now we move to the Karl Marx's theory of alienation. This theory says that because of the control of bourgeois over all the modes of production, the workers or the proletariats, they are alienated from the working environment, they are alienated from the products, the fruits of their labors, they are alienated from the company itself, the organization itself. So now here we have the proof to believe that an entity of capitalism is solving the problems of community. Here, take the example of CSR. CSR, as I said in the beginning, it encompasses inclusion and participation of the community of all the actors who have been affected by the business. So here we take the example of customers, the workers, employees, the owners. By starting CSR initiatives, they all can be included, they all can come in, they all can participate together, and the benefits of growth and developments, they can be given to everyone. All these 4 points and the theory of alienation, they are refuted by CSR.
Basically, I get your point. See, CSR initiatives are there, which are good. I agree with the point. But see, there are two ways I can see. First of all, I agree with the point that alienation part is very good. Okay, fine, you can use CSR initiative, which basically adds the workers to the company, and you can add, they can associate with the company, and then obviously this alienation theory won't work, which is good for us, which is good for the workers. But there's one more thing that I think it's this marketing chaps, they're pretty brilliant. They know that they're doing it. So like once in a while they also do a good CSR initiative, so that if somebody comes and fight back, they can always throw them back, like okay fine, we are doing these good things, once in a while. So I think obviously that'll be good CSR initiative, but it's a reverse psychology kind of effect. Let's keep that initiative just in hand, just in case if somebody comes and buys us, or then we can say, oh, since we're saying this thing. So I think you have been triggered by the whole point that CSR initiative by default is kind of one kind of a tool nowadays to maximize the profit by the capitalist people, and once in a while they just do another stuff another good CSR initiative just so as people can just be on this good side of CSR initiative, they can take it positively. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, so we have seen the two sides to the CSR point, but it essentially boils down to classic form and content the economy. So CSR is essentially a socialism concept. It's meant for the welfare of society. But is it really for the welfare of society? Is it being implemented in that way? Are the corporations misusing it for marketing, for maximizing their own profits? So it's just become another profit maximizing mechanism. So in the end, what started out as socialism, as a socialism concept, in the end has adopted capitalism, or capitalism has indulged the CSR philosophy. And based on our analysis, we present the following hypothesis, or rather a proof, that corporate social responsibility is nothing but capitalism.